What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about bar chords and some things you can do to learn to play bar chords and how to make them a little bit easier. So the first thing you're going to want to learn is, if you already know about your F chord, a lot of times you'll see bar chords played this way. So it's almost like your E, but instead of playing with these, you scooted it up here and you're barring this out. It's kind of a hard chord to play. I've never struggled a lot with it, but I know a lot of people hate this one. I sort of adapted mine to like more of a Jimi Hendrix style, like you can also wrap your thumb around. And a lot of times that means I'm not always playing this string. But one of the best tips I could give anybody is that you don't have to play all 6 strings. For a long time, it's just like I felt really obligated to play all 6 strings, and that just makes it a lot more difficult. But you can get all 6 with that as well. So this is a really great movable shape because if it's here, you have an F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and a good way to remember like the order of those is it starts on A and it kind of goes in a circle, and there's a sharp or a flat, doesn't matter. Like, so if this is F sharp, and then G, but it also works the other way, G, G flat. So G flat and F sharp are the same. The only exception there is there's nothing between B and C, nothing in between E and F. For all the music theory people out there, yeah, I know that there's other things, but we're not going to talk about those for the sake of just keeping it simple. Another really great shape that I think is super underutilized, it's this A shape. Like if you're playing out of G, a B flat is not super uncommon to have every now and then. And one of my favorite ways to play a B flat is to bar these inner strings. So I'm leaving out my 2 E strings. And then on the A string, I can jump up here on the 5th fret. Now, it's missing this root note, and that's not a real practical shape. But most of the time, like if you're in G, if you're going up, you're not spending a lot of time there. So I think it works in that context. And you can do the same thing. So like you have a C chord here. We said this was B flat. So that means we have B flat, B, C. I also like it because you can do these hammer-ons. That's just the C chord out of the A shape. And then the, let's see, the other one that gets utilized a lot is this sort of this shape, which is based off of like a D, but instead of catching these 3 notes, you can technically add this one. A lot of times we don't do that because then the D is in our lowest note, which we really like. The ear likes to hear that. But instead we're going to get these. And a lot of times, like if you do some cross picking, you've probably used this before. Just because it's a variant that gives you a different note than you would usually have. It's not in root position, some might say, but that may be a little complicated for what we're talking about. But you can also move this around. So if it's a C really here, that's what your C chord is based off of. And then when we move it up here, and then at times I will add this note. I don't think this one's too impractical. So what we have now is this is a D note. And I'm muting those outer strings, the 2 E's, and I'm playing this as a D chord. So that gives you a pretty full chord to do it that way. And all these are movable. A great way to practice these would be like you can play a G chord, and you might start on like this G out of like the F shape or the E shape. It's kind of complicated. Traditionally, like you hear people talk about the cage system, and this is sort of what they mean. But I think caged is almost too complicated because you can almost boil it all down to like 3 shapes. Like the E, A, and D shape kind of overlap with the other 2. But anyhow, you could go G, and then you go up here, and then one more. This guitar ran out of frets. You can do the same thing with C. So technically we're in that D shape kind of thing that I showed you earlier here. So the next one we're going to find is going to be, and then finally up here, like our E shape. You could do that for your key of D. So we're already in that D shape. So we're here, and then here, your E. So we're on the E shape, and we're going to move up to, there it is. And then that one. So it takes some thinking about these, and I'm not great with them. I think I end up, like it's like, oh yeah, that's where I'm at. But I hope to keep working on them, and that may be something to help you just navigate the guitar fretboard a little bit and understand how chords work better. All right, guys, hope this helps.